Hello friends, this video on wave optics part 25 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched all the videos till part 24 before going ahead with part 25. Now let us talk about the validity of ray optics. So far we have only been talking about wave optics, wave nature of light wave, the properties which light exhibit due to its wave nature. So if wave optics is true, and if ray optics is also true, how are both of them true at the same time? Because when we talk about ray optics, we talk about things which we actually see. For example, I see my image in the mirror. So that is something which I have studied in ray optics, that the light waves is falling on the mirror, reflected back, I am able to see it. Things like that. But when it comes to wave optics, I cannot explain the phenomenon in terms of wave optics. That's because ray optics and wave optics, they have their own parameters. That means there is a region where ray optics is true. There is another region where wave optics is true. So when I talk about the limit or the value that sets the boundary between ray optics and wave optics, we again come to something called Fresnel's distance. Let us consider the example of the single slit diffraction. Let us suppose we have a single slit or a single aperture of thickness A, right? So what kind of pattern will be observed? It will be the normal diffraction pattern which has a central maximum, right? So what would be the angular size of the central maximum? The angular size of the central maximum would be equal to lambda by A, because theta is equal to lambda by A. This is nothing but the condition for the central maximum in diffraction. So now let us suppose that in traveling some distance, say Z, how much will be the spread due to diffraction? The spread due to diffraction would be Z lambda by A, because due to diffraction, as you saw in the previous slides also, instead of a point, it was a spot because of the phenomenon of diffraction. So that means something which was supposed to be a point now became a spot. That means there was some spread which occurred. So let us suppose that for that spread to occur, light waves traveled a distance Z. So what would be the spread? The spread would be Z lambda by A. Now we have to find out for what value of Z the spreading due to diffraction is comparable to the size of the aperture, because here we are talking about a very small aperture. So the value of Z for which this spread which takes place due to the phenomenon of diffraction should be equal to the width of the aperture. So that value of Z is A square by lambda. So this distance is known as Fresnel's distance. So what is this distance? This distance basically tells us the distance for which any distance under measurement is comparable to the width of the slit or not. In the very first slide I told you, right, that since light has very small wavelength, so it depends under what condition light is being used. If light is made to pass through a very small hole, in that case the wave effects will be more visible, whereas if it is made to pass through a big window, it will be like more of ray optics, right? So that means it always depends upon the dimension of the object where we are using light. So that is what is known as, so that parameter has been named as the Fresnel distance. So here also it is talking about the same thing, that when diffraction takes place, there is a spread. So that spread is given by Z lambda by A. That angular spread is given by Z lambda by A. So when this spread becomes comparable to the size of the aperture, right, then that is the boundary of ray optics and wave optics. So how do we make use of this Fresnel distance? We say that for distances which are very, very smaller than Fresnel distance, the spreading due to diffraction is smaller compared to the size of the beam. So there is a very small spread. For example, we say that ray of light falling on a lens, it should meet at a particular point. So for us, this point should be a point. It should not be a spread. So that means if the distances, if we are taking into consideration distances which are very small as compared to the Fresnel distance which we have calculated in the previous slide, then we say that ray optics is valid, because wherever the diffraction, the spreading due to diffraction is small, that means ray optics is valid. But for distances which are very greater than the Fresnel distances, in that case ray optics is not valid, and spreading due to diffraction dominates over ray optics. That means in that case wave optics is valid. So for distances greater than Fresnel distance, wave optics, and for distances lesser than Fresnel distance, wave optics, right? And what is Fresnel distance? It determines the distance at which the spread due to diffraction becomes comparable to the size of the aperture. So when the spread due to diffraction is more, wave optics. When the spread due to diffraction is less, ray optics. It is very simple to remember, right? So now we have covered the phenomenon of diffraction as well. So it is time to solve some problems, and post which we will start with the last topic, that is polarization. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.